I don't think there's any personal or too many personal trainers doing what you're doing. So that's
Ooh,
that's
yeah,
wild.
you like that.
But
That was dope. See that? He said that right when the
this episode is brought to you by AMG. If you're involved in any type of accident, don't hesitate to call 305 AMG Help. They are the winning team and they will have your back. Today in the Miami Hustle, we got Daru pulling up. Thank you for your time. We
do that
appreciate
one more time.
you.
Do that one more time. There
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's run it. You see that?
We're the thunderstorm in the background because
That's what we're doing.
we make it happen anyways. So I appreciate you for
My
coming
dog.
out here.
Appreciate
Thank you for
you,
your
bro.
time.
Yeah, man,
It's
this
an
is
honor
dope.
to have you.
I love the space. I love the background, especially now. We do actually have a thunderstorm going on. This isn't fake or make believe. We do actually
No
have
green screen.
Miami, South Florida, rain and thunderstorms. So
Yeah, it's just passing by.
yeah. Wow.
Ooh, that was a nice one.
I like it.
Hey, so just so the people know, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so Broward County. I grew up all up and down Broward, so from Dania Beach, Hollywood Beach, all the way up to North Lauderdale, and then finished off in Deerfield. So I've been up and down. Yep.
Nice. And what got you into personal training?
Well, in the beginning, I played college football, so I was going for exercise science, and then after that, I'm like, all right, I got to make some money. So I started doing really personal training, but also group training, boot camps, things like that. At the same time, I was fighting. So I started off with MMA. I was boxing a little bit in the off season of my college career. Then went to MMA, started training that, and then at the same time, you know, as a amateur MMA fighter, you're broke. So I needed to make money. So I started sneaking people into like Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, things like that, so that basically I just make like $20, $30 here and there.
Yeah.
You know, I was like 20 years old at the time, 19, 20 years old, and then moved forward, and I ultimately developed a name for myself. I moved up, so I went from Broward, and then we moved up to a small area called Port St. Lucie,
Okay.
which a lot of people are there now, but before that, there was nothing there really. So small town, I grew a niche, grew my name in the area, not only for the fighting, but also for training. And by the time I was around 22 years old, I opened up my own facility. So my first facility was about 800 square feet. It was probably smaller than your apartment here. And it was about $500 a month, which is way different from where I'm getting charged at right now.
For sure, yeah.
And then fast forward, you know, I worked with well over 200 professional athletes, mostly in combat sports. I was with American Top Team for a long time until I left there in around 2020, right at COVID, and opened up my own spot. Have 2 spots up in Port St. Lucie, and then I have 1 in Deerfield. Been able to coach well over, let's say, right now, probably, I can't put a real number on it, but there's been thousands of people that I've been able to help, hopefully help. In my opinion, I think I did. And then also world champions, 6 world champions, 2 gold medalists in the Olympics, 2 silver medalists. You know, I've been able to get Trainer of the Year award 5 times in a row, or 5 times. Did seminars in over 14 different countries, and been able to mentor over 5,000 coaches from around the world.
That's amazing.
But it's because of the fact that I just kind of stick to the game plan and try to learn as much as possible, and getting the results through, you know, diligence and hard work and all that, but also having the right people to work with too as well is important.
Yeah, that's definitely important. But that's amazing. Yo, shout out to you for all your accomplishments. That's crazy how you were an amazing athlete and now you're also an amazing coach.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so how did you get into fighting early on?
I mean, listen, and you know, you're down here. We're all from Florida. I mean, it's either you play football, you fight, or you try to rap, and I'm not rapping at all. So, you know, the main thing was like I grew up in these areas where you had to fight. You know, you had to fight for, you know, to make sure that you didn't get punked out or anything like that. So it was a consistent, like, you know, always trying to prove your worth, right? But after that, like, I also did martial arts as a kid. So I started at 4 years old, did Kempo karate, worked my way up, got a brown belt. Then I ditched that, started playing football, and that kind of saved me a little bit from getting into too much trouble. Obviously, not all the way through. 16 years old, I got into a lot of trouble. Was facing got a felony charge, was facing 60 years.
Wow.
So at that point, I looked at my life and I said, man, this isn't where I need to go. And luckily, by the grace of God, I was able to get out of that situation. And like I said, like took it, ran with it, learned from the issue that I put myself in. And then now, I guess the rest is history.
That's amazing, bro. Shout out to you for
Thanks, bro.
Getting back on track after that, because I could only imagine, bro. That's scary.
Definitely as a 16-year-old, yeah.
As a 16-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, going through that situation was tough. But essentially, like, what the judge and everybody else seen, and they knew that first-time offender in that way, and that I had, colleges, universities. So I was getting highly recruited as a football player. So I got a lot of letters from different colleges, sent them out, got them brought over to the judge. Even the school resource officer vouched for me. And, eventually they were like, you know what? It's a first-time offense. There's no real evidence that you did anything. It's all hearsay. So they gave me 5 years probation, gave me some restitution. I got off in 2 years, switched high schools, went from Northeast High School to Deerfield Beach High School, and did what I could, did what I could in my senior year,
Yeah, I mean, God is good.
Yeah, 100%, all the time, man, for sure. So I think, like, with that, when you go through these situations, it allows you to understand how good you have it, because you go through these uncomfortable situations. And that's why I think I'm constantly seeking the arduous, where I'm constantly trying to do new challenges. My professional career, in a lot of ways, didn't go as planned. I had focus issues. Obviously, like I said, I was building a business at the same time trying to be a professional fighter. So the one thing I can say for young fighters out there, and every time I talk to them, is that if you're going to fight and you're going to do anything that requires a large amount of focus, you have to only do that. And now, don't get me wrong, you can make some money here and there. But if I was trying to do two very time-consuming things, be an MMA fighter, professional fighter, and be a full-time business owner, which it's hard in the beginning. So I would drop fights, I would lose fights that I should have won. And so luckily, again, I think the stars align and God puts you in the right position and gives you opportunities that you didn't even see happen until you're in it and actually can look back at it. So, yeah, I mean, that, and then focusing on coaching really allowed me to elevate my business, elevate my brand, and now I can focus on what I do best.
Yeah, I was going to say, so after you finish fighting, has it been easier for you to just focus on that one thing now instead of trying to balance?
Yes and no, because I still have that mentality of a fighter, you know what I mean? And I still want to challenge myself. And sometimes, luckily, I'm able to live vicariously through my fighters. You know what I mean? Like, I got 2 guys fighting this weekend.
Shout out Lorenzo.
Yep, for sure. And these kids are young and up and coming, and like, I can kind of give them some advice that I wish I could have gave myself or somebody would have gave to me. And, it's good to see. It's good to see these guys actually make it to the next level and do great things, down the line. And for me, being a coach, being a business owner, leader, I'm a father, I'm a husband, those things allow me to fill that void. But don't get me wrong, I still am an athlete at heart. I'm a lifelong athlete. So whatever I can do to challenge myself, I'm going to do.
Yeah, you're always trying to compete some way.
100%. Either if I'm competing with somebody or competing with myself.
And speaking of challenging yourself, I know you're doing something coming up. What's it called? The Mud?
Yeah. So I got Ruck 150.
Ruck 150.
Yeah, so Ruck marching is an old military concept and thing that they used to do. So rucking is basically weighted marching, right? Weighted walks, weighted runs. And in the military, they have to do that. They have to carry heavy sacks around and get around from mission to mission. So I have a large amount of people that I respect. Every military veteran, every active military operator, everybody that puts their life on the line for our freedom, right? So I wanted to do something for them, and I wanted to do something that was going to challenge me mentally and physically. So I decided to come up with this concept where I was going to take a ruck that was about 50, 65 pounds, somewhere around there. And I wanted to ruck for long distances. And I looked up, the longest distance that you could go safely, I guess, and effectively, but also be very challenging and be a formidable, type of challenge. And it was like somewhere around 100 miles. But me being an overachiever, I decided to go 150, right?
Wow.
So I'm doing 150 miles. I'm starting in Miami, starting at Fountain Blue. We're going to do that Monday night. So I'm starting at 7 p.m. And then I'm going to walk all the way up to Fort Pierce, Florida, which is, again, 100
to Fort Pierce, Florida?
Yeah, Fort Pierce, Florida.
With how much weight on you?
Around 60 pounds.
60 pounds?
Yeah.
You're going to run there? How long is that going to take you?
It should take me around 3.5 days if we time it right.
3.5 days? Yo, that's like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we want to do. We go ahead and we do the Forrest Gump. You guys can join.
Is anyone joining you, or is it just you?
You can, man. If you like I said, if you want to join, we can lock in. So what I'm trying to do is, you don't have to do the whole thing, but if you want to do a few miles. So how does that work?
Is it like nonstop, or are you stopping at?
I'm gonna stop at certain points because I have to change out my socks, and you have to make sure that you're doing it.
But like, do you sleep, or you just go straight?
I'll probably sleep a little bit, but it's going to be like a quick nap. It's not going to be a full-on sleep,
That's
I won't
wild,
get in full REM.
That's wild. Has anyone ever done this?
Not to my knowledge. No.
Okay.
Not like
that's
this.
Exciting.
Not like this.
Bro, that's definitely challenging yourself.
Yeah, there's been guys that have done 150 miles, but they just no time frame. They just kind of got it done. So this time I'm really looking to do that. And then the next challenge I want to do is I want to go up the coast of Florida. So I want to start from the Keys all the way up to Tallahassee. Yeah.
With weight on you again?
Probably with weight on me, or I might do a run, bike, swim. Wow. So we'll see.
That sounds fun, but I'll let you know about that.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Let me get my cardio back up a little bit, and then we'll see what's up.
Honestly, a lot of it with the ruck, the reason why I decided to transition to that really to start, because I want to do ultra running and everything else, and that's down the line. But ruck requires strength too as well, because you're carrying load. So, it was an easier transition than to just fully run, right? Now, I've obviously got in good condition for fights and things like that, but I also power lifted. I'm more of a power strength athlete.
Yeah.
So, this right here is definitely going to challenge me because it is highly endurance based, because we're running and going for long distances, but I throw a strength component onto it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, no, I'm sure you're a good coach, too, because when you're out here doing things like that, I like people that lead by example. So if you're going to be my personal trainer, you got to, be doing the personal training, too. And I don't think there's too many personal trainers doing what you're doing. So that's wild.
You like that.
But
that was dope. See that? You said that right when the...
But speaking of coaching, so how do you get an award like Coach of the Year? Because you've gotten that 5 times, and it seems like an award that anybody will be happy to get once.
Yeah. So, there's a difference too. Like you're saying personal training. So personal training, for the most part, you work with one person, and it's usually general population people, right? People that just want to get in shape, live healthier, which is fine. It's perfect. For me, it's more of a strength coach, more of a physical preparation specialist or coach. What we're doing is we're trying to get athletes prepared for a sport, for a particular event, or in my case also now I transition also working with some celebrities where we're working towards a particular event or a movie role or something along the lines of that. So it's more for a particular purpose at the end, and then obviously getting them healthier too as well. But the goal is to increase performance. So I've been able to not only utilize my abilities and my knowledge base, but my experience too as well as a fighter to allow me to communicate with those fighters so that when they buy into what I'm talking about, and then just getting the results necessary, I'll be a liar if I said that it wasn't a little bit of marketing too, because at the end of the day, they have to know who you are. So putting out quality information, not viral content just for the sake to be viral, right? I put out content in the sense of making sure that you're getting something out of this that you can take with you to be a better individual, whether it be to get stronger, more powerful, increase your mindset, whatever. So with my content, that's what it's based upon. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to always just be, just a lecturer, but for the most part, that's what we're aiming towards. So I think that that did help. And then, with the results that you get, So
Yeah.
luckily when you get these awards, man, it's like you get nominated through your peers. So that's one thing and I got nominated around 7 times.
Nice.
So I guess I'm more satisfied with that because they're my peers. That's a mutual respect. And then obviously I'm gracious and I'm humbled enough to get, you know, I guess voted on to get those awards through the fans and everybody else that votes.
Yeah, that's respect
Yeah.
for sure. And like you said, that only happens through results.
Yep. Yep. For sure. I mean, it doesn't matter how. This is another thing. Like, I did a seminar Sunday, and we were talking about marketing and branding for trainers and for people that are looking to build their fitness business and everything else. And I understand you have to have a scheduler, you have to make sure that you have a strategy, your content strategy has to be on point, you have to be authentic in a way, you also have to be articulate with your words, and then you also have to make sure that people want to hear from you. Like, what are you doing? Are you entertaining? At the same time, you still got to be good. You still got to get that result. You still have to provide value. If you don't do that, I don't care how well you market yourself. You can get on top, but you're not going to stay there. So to any young trainer out there that's looking to, make a name for themselves, focus on getting really good. Then start promoting yourself, right? Get some experience under your belt. Get some results. Then you can start promoting it. Because if you didn't do anything, people are going to find that out and you're not going to last long. See what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, that makes sense. So when it comes to like you said you were balancing fighting and then you were balancing the business or the
Yeah.
lifestyle too.
Yeah.
What got you into that side of it, like business? Because clearly you're good at marketing, you understand business and you've grown your business as well. So where did that come
Um,
from?
I don't know, man. I think that I was forced into it. Like, I've always wanted to make money, and that was one of the reasons why I think that I started to to build my training brand, because I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I'll make sure that I go all in, and I'm never. It's hard because that's why I said the focus was shifted. There wasn't a day that I didn't train, and when I opened up the business, when I opened up the gym, that whole week I didn't train. I was only focused on that. It was like a new thing. It's like the shiny new object syndrome, and I just went in, and I go, damn.
Did you have any experience with business before doing that?
Not really. I mean,
Or
I
like any
had
mentors or like
nope, nothing,
it's a big
man,
move.
nothing.
That's a big risk.
I think, well, I mean, listen, we all did our thing. Like, sold things that I shouldn't have sold as a teenager, and I used to sell things that like I used to flip things at like garage sales and things like that, like small stuff. But I never really got to that point where I was like, yo, I'm gonna be this major mogul business brand,
Okay.
and then also talk about sales and marketing and strategy of that. I never did that. I was always just an athlete, and I always wanted to be the best at what I did. So I think what ended up happening was when I opened up the gym, I was like, okay, now I have to go fully into this because I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. So then I transitioned like a lot of my effort and energy into learning marketing, into learning branding, into learning business development, entrepreneurship for a good 4 years. And I built that gym from that 800 square foot facility to 11,000 square feet, from 12 members to around 400 members, 350 to 400 members. And I grew that revenue stream for a good amount of time. And at that moment, I knew that I needed to figure out ways to market. Now, at the beginning, it was all Facebook. This is around 2011. So it was all Facebook marketing, a little bit of ads here and there, but it really wasn't a lot. I didn't put a lot of money into ads. I did a lot through referrals. And the reason why I got referrals was because I go back to it. I was good at what I did.
Yeah.
And that was because I put time and effort into, perfecting my
Yeah, yeah.
craft. So the marketing kind of took care of itself, right? All I did was just make sure that I went on there and posted. We took pictures after the training.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I told the people that loved and trusted me to tell their friends, tell their coworkers, tell their family members if they want to get down. And I did it differently than everybody else, right? Instead of calling it a boot camp, I called it battle camp. Instead of calling it boot campers, I called them Spartans and soldiers. So they had like this different type of feel. And every time they went in there, they knew that they were going to get pushed beyond their limits. But it was getting them better. Now, I wouldn't do that to that degree of what I used to do. I was crazy back then. Now I know a little bit more. But in hindsight, I just made these people feel more confident in themselves, that they could overcome a certain obstacle or overcome adversity that they didn't think they could get through. And so that developed a bond, and I created a culture in that small area. But then I found out like I wanted more at that point. It was around 2015 where I was kind of like, or 2016, I was kind of like, you know what, I want to do something with athletes more. I don't want to really just focus on the boot camps anymore. So I ended up selling my gym.
Because that was more for like everyone, like anyone?
That was for anybody, but
Okay.
athletes would join it. You see what I'm saying? So I had athletes, I had high school, college athletes, and then I had the regular people that would do that boot camp. Battle camp is what I called it. And it grew like wildfire, man. Like, and that's the one thing that I could say that allowed me to understand communication skills and networking, right? And brand awareness. Because without that, I couldn't have grown Daru Strong to where it is now. And so, I look back at that and I didn't even know what I was doing. But nowadays, if I look back at the tactics and the strategy that I had, it's what everybody's teaching now. But I kind of was going off of it intuitively because I knew that this was going to be something that people would grasp towards, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
it was good.
That's what's up, bro. I mean, yeah, nowadays content is everything when it comes to marketing. That's where the eyes are.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
you understood that early, and then you just
Yeah.
attacked the market.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I knew that I needed to get awareness. And the only way to get awareness was going where the eyes are.
Yeah,
And at that moment in time, it was in Facebook, right?
yeah.
And then it transitioned to Instagram. And then it was Snapchat. And then, and then Vine showed up. And
The
then
good
YouTube
thing
started
is
blowing
if you
up.
got the content and you're putting in the work, you can just use that
Distribute it.
content on
On
all
any
the,
platform.
Yeah, on all the platforms.
Well, that's another thing. Like, I started doing a YouTube channel. I did the YouTube channel back in 2011. But the only reason why I put it on YouTube because I needed to have a place where I could hold videos. And then my athletes would distribute it out and have it on their phone so they could show their teammates. That's really why I started doing YouTube. So you look all the way back, it was just me doing training sessions.
Yeah.
You go all the way
crazy.
back, it's terrible footage, man. It's like just the iPhone
gotta
and
start
like the first
somewhere.
iPhone, I think it was. So it was good though for what it was, and that's why I keep it so people could go back and look at the old times,
So what made you want to transition to mostly like focus on athletes now? And how's that been going? Like, is it mostly like fighters or just any type of athletes?
Now I'm transitioning. I mean, at this moment in time in my life, it's more about teaching and educating coaches. So it went from general pop. Like, I've worked with young kids around 7, 8 years old all the way up to 74-year-old men. So there's a wide range there. And I think you need to have that, just like any other training stimulus. When you're looking to improve your training, improve your athleticism, improve your physicality, you got to start off with a general way of doing things, a general strength building, right? And then from there, you can start to go into those minute details. So the same concept applies with, as a trainer, right? You have to build a base of understanding people, how to properly communicate, how to cue them, how to make sure that you put them in the right positions and see all different body structures, mannerisms, how people move, how people adapt, how people accommodate. And then from there, you can start to separate yourself and then niche down on what you really want to focus on. But it does take a good amount of time for you to understand what you want to focus on. And so at that point, because of the background that I had, I was like, it's a perfect niche to go into combat sports because, one, it's a passion of mine. Two, I can relate to those individuals a lot better than most other athletes. And I still work with other athletes. I got some NFL players that I work with. I like I said, work with some celebrities. I work with NHL, MLB. But nothing is like fighters, and it's not the money because most of y'all don't make money. We don't make money until we make it to the top level. So it really is more of a passion. And you got to have that passion. If you're looking to work with combat sport athletes, you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah, for sure.
You ain't going to make a lot of money yet until you get to the higher levels.
Yeah, and people respect passion. That's what it's about.
Yeah. I think the best trainers, I think the best entrepreneurs, the best actors, they're all very, very passionate. And the reason why they're successful and they'll maintain their success is because each and every day they wouldn't do anything else. See what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
wake up and they have a purpose.
It's like it's not about the money.
Never about the money, but money's good,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
It's a perk.
Yeah.
But definitely you want to get out of bed and be excited about what you're doing. And at the moment that you're not excited and it happens too many times, well, you got to get out of that situation, unfortunately.
How do you get out of that situation?
You have to have introspection, right? So you have to know who you are first, right? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you feel like you need to be? And then from there, just pivot. I pivoted many a times, right? I went from football to MMA, from MMA to business owner to coach. Then from there, entrepreneur back into an educator. It just pivots.
Yeah.
You just got to find out what's going to be the best move for you, and what you feel is going to be something that is going to get you out of bed every day.
That's what's up. And how do you like now being able to give back all the knowledge that you had?
I mean, it's my passion, right? So even coming on here and talking with you, hopefully I can say something to you that may resonate, right? Or somebody listening. If it's one thing I always say in all my seminars, like, we got 2 days of nonstop information. If you take one thing out of this whole 2 days, then I did my job, and you're going to be better off for it, because you wouldn't have got that one thing if you didn't come to. So not to say that you won't, but you get more than just one thing out of my seminars, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but it's just the fact of like being able to give as much as I can, and I know in time it'll be reciprocated, because I'm a man that believes in that reciprocity. I believe in the boomerang effect, right? Whatever I put out into the universe, it'll come back to me, whether it be negative or positive. The goal is to stay positive, control your emotions. You know how they say stay stoic, right?
Yeah.
Have a stoic mindset. The biggest thing is that you can only control what you react to. So your reaction is going to be based upon how well you can control your emotions. And that's the biggest thing. So I think that for me, understanding that, even when the times are rough, because life is all about ebbs and flows, undulation, ups and downs, you know.
Yeah.
Don't let your highs get too high and don't let your lows get too low.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. But that's good knowledge. So I'm wondering, like, where do you get that? Do you like to read, or is that
I read a
something
lot. Yeah, I do read a lot. But it's a mix, you know. It's Western philosophy, it's Eastern philosophy, it's a little bit of a mix of everything. You know, I have a Catholic background, so again, you know, with St. Thomas Aquinas, looking at some of that as well, reading those certain types of scriptures too as well. I mean, you could find it anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're reading the Quran or the Bible, right? There's some good stuff in everywhere. You just got to know how to decipher it, right? The one thing I will say is this. I'm not a dogmatic person. I like to expand my mind and allow myself to not be closed-minded to other people's opinions and other people's views on life. It just has to make sense for me. And I think a lot of people will live a more prosperous lifestyle if they know how to utilize all different things for themselves, because everything for you is subjective for you. It's the same way I approach training, right? So like, there's some things that people just stay to. Like, some guys are just the functional pattern guys, or some guys are just like the big 3 squat, bench, deadlift guys, right? Some people are like, none of that works, just do yoga, right? Same thing with diet, man. It's like you got your carnivore over here and you got your vegan people over here. It's always dogmatic. But that's not, you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't be that way, right? You should think about what's best for you and take little bits and pieces from each category per se, right? That'll allow you to be more diverse and allow you to be more of a chameleon, be able to go into all different ways and be, you know how they say, a jack of all trades, master of none,
Yeah.
right? I don't really like that term. I do believe you need to be a specialist in some category. You need to have, like for me, it's going to be combat sports performance. And a lot of times now I'm transitioning into branding, education, things like that. But I got to be competent in all these other means of training, again, with the philosophy of training, whatever it is. I just need to have that ability. Otherwise, yo, is this a tornado, bro?
Nah, I think that's an airplane.
Bro, don't get, no.
Nah, I
We
think
got a tornado over here.
we're chilling.
We're going to cut that out.
That's over there. That's
We're
over
going to
there.
cut that out. But I
We're-
think,
we're good here.
Mike,
We're
that
good
was
here.
a fucking tornado, bro.
It
You heard that shit?
It sounded like
That wasn't no damn, he said it was a
like
plane.
It was a jet, like a plane. Yeah, plane flies over your line.
Yeah.
Bro, there ain't no planes flying right now.
Yeah, they're flying this way.
Man, shit.
Yo, hey, shout out to Mike, by the way. Behind the scenes, by the way. You already know he's the one that made this connection.
Mike's going to do the ruck with me.
Oh, Mike's doing it with you?
Ruck's he's got to film the ruck. He'll be with me.
Damn, bro. All right. Hey, you're going to be in a car or you're going to be walking with him?
He's going to get a lot of calories will be burned that day.
Yeah.
Or that 3 days.
Nah, that's wild.
I
bro.
did the measurements on it though. So I'm going to be burning around like 1,600 calories per hour.
Per hour.
Per hour.
Are you going to eat as you walk? Like,
Yeah, I'll have to like snack and stuff, yeah.
bro, that's for real Forrest Gump shit.
Man, I'm hoping to get a good crowd, man. We're doing it also. Another thing is we're doing it for 3 foundations, right? So we're doing it for Defenders of Freedom, Warrior Dogs Foundation. Sorry about that, and then Pipe Hitters Foundation. So 3 military-based foundations, all into pursuit to just raise funds for that foundation, for the troops, and for veterans that come out of there that need that help.
That's amazing, bro. Shout out to all the veterans and the troops out there.
For sure,
For real.
man. Yep. We're in a crazy time, man. So
We are.
in order to truly, I couldn't go into the military, and my father was in the Navy, my grandfather was in the Army, my other grandfather was in the Navy. So it's something that I can do, at least in that perspective, to help out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, shout out to you for doing that, bro.
Thanks,
when
man.
when is it that you're doing? Is that
So July 1st to the 4th,
okay?
starting in over here, 7 p.m. July 1st. So if you guys are out there, you want to come check me out, I'm gonna go live for a good amount of time each
Nice.
day, and then we're gonna document everything and put it into a documentary.
That's exciting, bro. How does someone prepare for something like that?
You really don't, man. Like I've been preparing for 16 weeks, and there's progressions, and I can go through the whole system, but wow,
Yeah, that's wild.
you didn't see that thing struck all the way down to the floor.
All right, we'll wrap up in like 10 minutes.
You think we got 10 minutes?
Yeah, we'll be good in 10
Where
minutes.
was I at? Where's that? Oh,
How do you prepare for this? You said you've been preparing
I mean,
for 16.
yeah, it's a constant get on, do your rucking. I had days where I did high intensity days, so I'd overload the ruck, so it'd be like 100 pounds in the ruck, and then
Wow.
I would do 15-minute intervals, and then days that I'd do my long distance, so I'd break it up into 2 different phases, like 2 different methods of it, and so high intensity, high volume. The high volume was at weight, and it would go for distance, but I'd increase the distance covered, and I would also increase the load on those 2 days.
Gotcha.
Until I got to about 4 weeks out, and then I started to basically peak, quote unquote. You can't really peak for 150 miles, but do as best as you can. Yesterday, I did 12 and a half miles in under 3 hours, so we're in a good
Wow.
spot. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're ready, bro. That's crazy though.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because it's a long time to actually train. You know what I mean? Because you can't really prepare for 150 miles, otherwise you'd be walking 3 days in a row. But
Yeah, exactly.
you can only do as much as I can only do as much as I could, and now I'm just gonna have to hurt. It's gonna be I'm gonna be in that pain cave for a minute. But,
I mean,
it is
yo,
what it
you
is.
definitely are someone that leads by example. You're
Thank
out
you,
here
man.
doing that, so
Thank you.
I'm sure you're an inspiration to. I mean, you're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure you're going to be an
Appreciate
inspiration
it,
to
man.
anybody that hears this.
You're an
and
inspiration to me,
watches.
man. This is a dope spot.
Appreciate that,
Keep
bro.
that going, man.
Thank you,
29
thank
years
you.
old, man.
Yes, sir.
getting
Making
it.
it happen.
No problem.
Appreciate that, bro. But anybody listening, they're
Yeah.
gonna look up to you. They're gonna follow you. They're gonna support you, and just keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank
I
you.
want to ask you, like, what advice would you give to somebody that's listening, that's maybe in their, let's say they just graduated college, graduated high school,
Yeah.
and they're looking to get into MMA or they're looking to get into training. What advice would you give to someone like that?
I'll give advice for somebody that's just trying to get into the field that they feel is going to be good for them. And some of you guys at that age, I have a daughter that's 21, and I have a daughter that's 18, and I tell them all the time, it's take your time, like feel it out, If you don't know what you're doing right now or don't know what you want to do, you have some time. Take the next 5, maybe even 10 years and try as many things as possible to see what sticks. Because you don't truly know your passion until you actually go through it in the real world. Now, if you know, like for me, I knew what I wanted to do, then you attack it, right? But be patient with it. That was the one thing that I wasn't. I was impatient, and I tried to go to the quick money, and I lost, or I left out a lot of the things that I could have did. So I mean, be patient, be persistent. There's 2 different things. So you can be patient and then not do shit, which you don't want. You have to be persistent in just trying to get better. Have introspection, like I talked about. Know yourself first. That's gonna take some time too, as well, as a young kid. But at least have some time to yourself. Sit in solitude. Meditate on it. And at that moment in time, you could truly figure out who you are, right? So I have that. I do that still to this day. You gotta have that time for yourself. Then from there, start to just put in work, because you're gonna acquire skills that you didn't know that will help you and pretty much yield dividends down the line, because you just tried stuff, right?
Yeah.
So many things that kids miss out on because they're just focusing on one aspect, and they lose skills that they could acquire that will help them down the line. Like for me, I wish I would have wrestled more in high school, because it would have helped me in MMA, right? That's just one thing. But do things, man. Change a tire and get an oil, like do your own oil change. Some fun. I know that's more car stuff, but anything, man. Be an apprentice. Go get mentored underneath somebody, right? Go to a law firm. Go to, I don't care, man. Go to the mall and work in a kiosk, because you'll get communication skills.
True.
You'll get sales skills that you can get that will transfer over, and again, will give you things down the line once you have a business or a family or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good way to look at it. You just got to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Just do it, make it happen, and then see if you like it. And if you don't, do something else.
Exactly.
That's what's up, bro. Bro, again, I appreciate you for coming out here.
No problem, man.
Even though it's a storm, you know, we
I don't
still
know
make
if
it
I'm
happen.
leaving yet. I don't know. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll chill, but let's.
I'll ruck 150 miles and get punched in the face, but I don't like the rain.
Hey,
man.
hopefully the weather's good when you're out there, bro.
Yeah,
This shit
for
is
real.
wild. But hey, again, appreciate you for your time, bro.
Nah, bro.
Until next time, we're gonna keep supporting you. We're gonna keep following you, and
Thank you.
and bro, just keep doing your thing. I mean,
Thank
clearly you've been doing a great job at what you do.
Yeah.
So keep leading by example, bro.
Got you, man. Thank you,
Until
bro.
next time, thank you.
All right, man. Peace.